David Perdue is an Atlanta-based comedian who has appeared on Comedy Central, Fuse TV, and Kevin Hart's LOL Network. David's also an actor appearing in Love Is on the Oprah Winfrey Network, and Bobcat Goldthwait's Misfits and Monsters on True TV. Wow, Bobcat Goldthwait, haven't heard that name.
Yeah, I know, right?
Look at that. David co-hosts the comedy news podcast. Man, you need to listen to this. It's called What's Good Atlanta. Have you heard What's Good Atlanta? It's on WAB. Great podcast with my David Perdue and Mark Kendall. Good stuff, man. And in 2022, David was selected as an Arts and Social Justice Fellow at Emory University. Listen, start clapping right now. Start clapping right now. Put your hands together for David Perdue.
Keep clapping, keep clapping. Don't stop clapping. Let's get that energy up. We clapping. We having a good time. We not full. It's Friday. Nobody's sleeping. We doing it. All right, you cut it, DJ. You cut it. You cut it. You cut it. You cut it. Thank y'all for having me out here, man. Give yourselves a round of applause for being outside. I just want to acknowledge a couple things up front. Nobody told me children would be here, so if I slow down a little bit, just know I'm working on it. Second, everybody take in my outfit. I look like a mascot from Atlanta. I bought these shoes at Walters. Air Max 95 404 a day. I got this hat from working at WABE, and this shirt I got from Bame himself. He said, hey man, I got an extra shirt in my car. And I was like, I'll take it. And you can tell it was a shirt he didn't want because have y'all seen anybody else in this color? But it was my size, so I took it. So shout out to Bame and everybody for making it happen. No, I'm excited to be here. I'll be honest, when I was asked to do jokes, and me and Sonny was going through stuff, every time I thought I was saying a place where I could, because this is about downtown, and so I'll be honest, I don't know, I never had jurisdiction with my jokes, like what places that don't fit with it, but that's okay. That's okay, because it's all Atlanta, but I will say I was a little like, uh-oh, that don't count as downtown, but it felt like, y'all remember Amaretta, this is not Atlanta, that's what it felt, every joke. He was like, this is not downtown Atlanta, and I was like, all right, back to the drawing board. No, I love this city, man. I'm gonna say this before I get into any like Atlanta specific jokes. No, these are Atlanta specific. I love this city for obviously a number of reasons. We all love the city. That's why we stayed here, right? Or moved here. Now if you moved here, clap it up if you moved to Atlanta. Yep, the reason traffic is the way it is. No, just play. No, I have like a couple like downtown stories, if you will. Like I got my first pair, like everybody was, when I was a kid, everybody was going to Walters, but I was wearing a size 14 shoe when I was in 7th grade. So I got introduced to Freedman's. Yeah. Anybody know Freedman's? Freedman's. See, y'all small feet people don't know Freedman's. Yeah. Freedman's was a store. I remember watching TV and Shaq was on the TV on one time on like TNT, and he was like, I buy my shoes in Atlanta every time I'm there. And I was like, where you buy shoes? Because your feet got to be bigger than mine. And he was like, I go to Freedman's downtown. And so shout out to Freedman's for when I went to prom my senior year. I got a pair of very unattractive Stacey Adams that went with a suit that was way too big for me. But that's my issue. That's nothing for y'all to worry about. Also, another. I feel like because I'm gonna put this out there. I'm birthed because of the AUC, and I know it's not exactly downtown, but I always got to shout out the AU. Both my parents went to Clark. At the time, it was Clark College. Apparently, my father. My father apparently stalked my mother. Her words, not his. We used to take the bus and travel everywhere, and then he had enough bus money to get back. And so he spent a lot of time in downtown just walking around, missing my mom, so shout out to that. But no, I feel like Atlanta is a place where you see your heroes up close. You know what I mean? So it's just like, all right, I remember one time I was at Morehouse, and I was in class, and I was the last person in class. And I'll never forget, I turned around, and it's former Mayor Andrew Young. He's there, right? I'll never forget this. If I think about it in depth, this might have been a moment I became a comedian, because I turned and I see Andrew Young, and my first thing I was like, oh, the Boulevard. Like I said, but she's more than that. Obviously, he's a former mayor of Atlanta, right? But and if you've ever seen him, this at the time, he's of age, and so he don't really walk as much as he waddle. You know what I'm saying? God bless him. But he kind of waddled in, and it was just him and me in this classroom, and I never forget. He goes, excuse me, young man. And I'm like, oh, snap, it's the Boulevard. And I say, yes, sir. And he says, he goes, can you point me to where the Andrew Young room is? And I thought I was being cool. I said, sir, it's wherever you're at. I'm glad y'all like that. He was not amused. He turned around and was like, all right, young man, you are stupid, and walked. But that only happens in Atlanta. And I feel like that is a very AUC experience, but it's also, I feel like you don't talk about areas like downtown and the growth and all the history without talking about the Atlanta University Center. And so I feel like I had to shout that out. All right, here we go. I know we were talking about downtown. There were certain landmarks that people were talking about. Like the World Coke, right? Or the Aquarium, the National Center for Civil Human Rights. Let me just say this. I hate all of those places. I do. I don't like them not one bit. You know why I don't like them one bit? It's because all of them came after I was out of school. And those were great field trip locations. I was a kid, I hated going to school. I hated classes. And now I see kids and field trips going there. And I didn't have none of that experience. So I'm a little bitter. You know what I mean? Congrats to those kids, but what about me? You know? I went to the old World of Coke. Anybody remember the old World of Coke? Yeah, the old World of Coke. I went to the old World of Coke. That was our field trip, was the old World of Coke. That place is where, let me just say this. I remember going there, and I was so excited to go there, right? And I remember people were like, you got to get to try every Coke from all over the world. And I was so excited to try all the different Coca-Colas. And then an adult who I trusted goes, you've got to try this Coke from Italy. There's an Italian Coca-Cola called the Beverly. You have to try it. Young, you'll enjoy it so much. And at that point in time, Italian cuisine is my favorite cuisine. They got pizza and pasta. I was like, surely they know how to pair a delicious drink with their pizza and pasta. And I tried the Beverly Coca-Cola. Did anybody remember trying that one? It is the most hideous tasting thing that I've ever tasted. It tastes, they don't want to describe it. It tastes like disappointment. That's what it tastes like. It tastes like disappointment. I got mad at the whole country of Italy after I tried it. I was like, what's wrong with y'all? Who would do this to you? That was the day I learned betrayal. I'm not going to lie. I was like, I'm a child. I lost all faith in adults. Because they sent me over there to try the Beverly. If you're any kids in here, try it. It's great. Man, I feel like Atlanta is, I just think about it from a lens of being a performer. You know, so I have great moments, obviously. Like I remember the first time I performed at the Fox Theater. It was incredible, yeah, because I remember as a kid, one of the field trips, you would go to the Fox and they would tell you about the history of the Fox. And I remember very vividly being a kid and they would tell you about the Phantom of the Fox, which apparently was an old man that lived at the top of the Fox and he would come down and watch the shows. That's real fun to learn about as a fourth grader. You're just scared of these ghosts that could pop out. So the first time I ever got to perform at the Fox, everybody looking at me clapping. I'm like, man, where that Phantom at, though? I'm not trying to be afraid of that. That was a high moment in comedy. I had a weird moment in comedy at the old Mammal Gallery. You remember the Mammal Gallery? Yeah, I remember I was hosting an event at the Mammal Gallery, and it was an open mic. And so anybody from anywhere in the city could come in, and the dude came in, and he the first thing I recognized this dude is he looked like Shawty Lowe. He looked like Shawty Lowe. And I was like, oh man, you look like Shawty Lowe. And he goes, man, that's my cousin. And I was like, that's crazy, because at that time, I'm not making this up, I had just found out that I'm also cousins with Shawty Lowe. So I was like, family. We had a moment, and then he got on stage and bombed, and I was like, I do not know him. I don't know, you can't both have that, you can't both, when somebody got the bomb on you, you say, that's your bomb, that's not my bomb, that might get contagious, So that was a weird moment. I will finish on this because I think I feel like you can't tell all of the good without telling the bad. Atlanta gave me my worst bomb ever. God bless it. Yeah, look I tell already. Y'all want to hear about my worst bomb ever? I don't like the enthusiasm of which y'all said that. Y'all like, yeah, share your pain, clown. That's not fun for me. I was doing the show. I'll never forget. I was probably 3 years into doing comedy. And I was doing a show at Underground Atlanta. Anybody remember Underground? Yeah. Okay, I say remember like it doesn't exist. It's still there. But at the time I went, it was not what it is now. Let's just say that. It was a little different. I ain't gonna lie, it felt like if you were to go there, you would, I remember being there when I was going, I was like, they could keep up Halloween stuff. You know what I mean? It felt very Halloween, it felt spooky, But I was like, it's June, so I don't know, didn't feel right, I'll never forget though. This y'all bear with me. I've not cussed or done anything weird up to this point. So just whatever I say next, don't get weird, okay? Just stay. Can y'all go stay with me? I don't trust y'all right now. Some of y'all looking like, I'm ready to, don't send me no messages after. This is true though, this is a true story. I'm on stage at this show. I'll never forget, I was underground. I'm on stage at this show. And I never forget, I'm on stage and I'm not great at comedy at this point, but I'm also not terrible, right? I'm somewhere in the middle, right? Which sounds like I'm dissing myself, but that's exactly where you want to be when you're a couple years in. Because you don't want to be the topic of conversation on people's ride home. Like if you're that bad, like, man, that dude sucked. Like you want to be, I was perfectly forgettable, or I thought I was, right? So I'm on stage, I'll never forget, I'm on stage, and I can see coming to the back of the room, a gentleman, and the first thing I see is this gentleman is pushing a Target grocery cart. Now, if you know anything about underground, you know, ain't no Target nowhere near underground. So I was on alert, because I was like, that don't fit. And then the second thing I noticed about this gentleman, I'll never forget, he was wearing both khaki pants, which are fine, I love khaki pants, and on top of his khaki pants, he was wearing jean shorts, and I thought that was a fashion choice. That was a choice, it was a bold choice, right? And he comes in, and he's not really bothering nobody, and it's kind of empty, like it's like half of this area, like it's sort of spread out. And I never forget, he kind of sits in the back, and I'm going through my jokes, and I'm doing the best I can, you know? And I don't know what I said, but you ever see somebody get the spirit? You know what I mean? Like he got restless about what I could tell it was about what I was saying. And he stands up and he just goes, enough! Which is, I'm not prepared for an enough. Like nobody's ever, that was new to me 3 years in the game. He said, enough! And I was like, yikes! Enough! And I was like, I said, come again. And he said, man, you suck, boo! Boo, you ain't no good. Team of people to also not like me, right? What I'm saying is, y'all realize that I got booed by an unhoused person, which, like, I mean, that's a kind of a low point. You know what I mean? Like he woke up that way. You know what I'm saying? And then he decided to come and make my life, like he was like, listen, yes, my life is hard, but you, sir, are making it harder. You're making my life harder. Boo, he booed me, right? And I remember thinking like, man, I remember being mad and I wanted to yell. And then he did something that is so Atlanta. And if you've ever been to like the old Uptown on like Marietta Street or anything like that, there used to be this thing called Boo Night. And Boo Night, if you ever been Boo Night, or honestly, it's not just at that club. It's like any place where like black people are there in majority of the audience. When someone sucks and they're not just like instead of just booing, which is like a fine thing to do, it gets the point across. Black people, we'll do a thing where we will take out our keys and shake our keys. Okay. See, and here's the thing. Here's the truth. I'm be real with you. I've done that before. When I was in school, I remember we keyed Chris Brown. This was early on. Somebody know what we did. We did that. And I look back at that moment, I was like, I might have something to do with his future. That's not good. He was a child at the moment, you know? So I'm saying this, I'm not new to that experience. I'm saying all this to say, this unhoused gentleman produces a janitor's amount of keys. Like, you know the big ring with like 1 million keys on it. And he's like, I said enough, man, boo! And he shakes his keys at me, and that got me perplexed. Because I was just like, how you homeless with all these keys? Like, I don't get it. Like, I remember being mad. I was like, man, let me just say this about me. If I woke up and I ain't had nowhere place to be, but I had a whole bunch of keys, I promise you I'm not gonna be homeless for a long period of time. I'm gonna figure something out. You know what I'm saying? On the other side is my new life with these keys. So I got mad at this dude, and I was like, man, you got some nerve shaking them keys at me. You ain't got nowhere to live. Like, I yelled at this man, right? Exactly. Yeah, no. Listen, admittedly, that was a problem. And I feel like the other people in the audience also thought it was a problem because they was like, you know what? Boo! Everybody was booing me. Taught me to be tough though, right? Like Atlanta can do that to me. Anytime I travel outside the city, I was like, I wish y'all would boo me. I've been keyed before. Nobody can hurt me. Let me ask you this. Is it weird that I think about that dude every day of my life? Every day of my life, I think about that gentleman. And not like, ooh, I hope he's better. No, I don't think about it. I think about him like, man, I just want him to be proud of me now. You know what I'm saying? Like I want him to see, like, you know what I'm saying? I got the WABE hat, you know what I mean? I'm doing things. People know me outside. You know, I get recognized twice a year. You know what I mean? Like, I had this dream. I had this dream where I think about the same dude, he's pushing that same cart down the street. Like down Peachtree Street. Like this is a dream, this is not real. But he's pushing it down the street and let's say he like notices, like there's like, you remember those old timey TV shops, right? With like the big screen and then there's a bunch of TVs on the shelf. I have this reoccurring dream where he's pushing his cart and he stops because he notices on one of those TVs, it's me on TV. My little goofy face is doing something cool. He goes, I knew he'd make it. You know, like, that's my weird little dream. All right, I think I did sufficient time, I feel like. Oh, I absolutely did. Y'all got 5 more minutes than y'all supposed to get. Y'all are welcome. My name is David Perdue. Thank y'all so much.
Y'all give it up for David Perdue, man. That's funny.